time. Get that fun button.
That's the first place to go. Oh. But I have another job, so it's like...
Parks and Cons, Rick West, Theme Park Adventure. Meet the Fun Bun. Meet my face.
This is history.
Oh yeah. And this is about to be history.
Live Entertainment Festival kicks off March 28th and runs through April 12th. But even though this is only our third year of doing a spring festival, the festival dates back nearly a century ago to the roots of Knott's Berry Farm, really celebrates those roots as well. Dates all the way back to December of 1920 when Cordelia and Walter Knott first moved to this farmland. A few short years later, in the early 1930s, Walter Knott brought back to life the few remaining boysenberry vines in the entire world and began selling sweet, delicious boysenberries from his farm stand out on Beach Boulevard. The rest, as they say, is history. Every boysenberry in the world, including the over 19 million that our culinary team uses every year here, can trace their roots back to Knott's Berry Farm, to this land where we are right now. We're really excited tonight to not only preview the food offerings and the great live entertainment of the 16-day Boysenberry Festival, but also to offer history tours led by Knott's own historian, Eric Linsweiler. Eric. In a few short minutes, the first tour will be departing, so make sure you listen for your tour name, and the first group's going to be Boysenberry, but just hold tight because we have a few other announcements for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lady, publicist for Knott's Berry Farm. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. And as Brad alluded to, part of the festival for this year, it's coupled with really exciting entertainment for the whole family from sun up to sundown. So at the heart of the entertainment is Birdcage Square, so just feet from this venue. And there, guests can partake in vine dancing, pie eating contests, take in live entertainment like Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, banjo players, in addition to Marshall Purdy, who you've seen him kind of floating around. He's also performing this evening and will perform throughout the festival. At the boardwalk where the iconic Charleston Fountain is going to be placed, that's going to be completely transformed for Peanuts Party in the Park, a fantastic show that celebrates spring in a really huge way. At dusk, that same amazing fountain gets transformed into Jammin' in the Dark. It's a nighttime dance party that's completely immersive and it's complete with its very own DJ. Over in Fiesta Village, we also have salsa dancing, and in Camp Snoopy, guests that want to meet the adorable, just so cute, Easter Beagle can do so, in addition to watching Lucy's Party in the Park. So as you can see, we're super thrilled for the festival this year, so we're asking guests to come for the food and stay for the amazing entertainment. Throughout the night, the public relations team, so Brad and myself, in addition to Eric Linsweiler and our amazing culinary team, will be available for questions or interviews. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Russ Nibs, our Vice President of Food and Beverage, and his fantastic culinary team who have put on the show for you tonight.
Hello everyone, welcome to the farm. What do you got, Misha? We got friends, we got wine, we got food. Sounds like a pretty good party already, eh? So let's hear for our culinary team again. Before we get, I also want to thank all the wineries that are here tonight. Without you, this would never happen. We started this process at the end of April last year, like a mad scientist inside the kitchen. We developed many items you're going to see tonight. We also brought in some boysenberry wine, boysenberry beer, boysenberry cider, boysenberry barbecue sauce bottle. And has anybody here heard the fun bun before? Tell you what the fun bun we did was, and this took months and months, and we figured it out. It's your cinnamon roll. Then we batter it in our secret funnel cake recipe. We've been around for many years at the farm. And then we deep fry it. Then we take it out. We add boysenberry cream cheese syrup on top. And then when you bite into it, you feel the crunch. I don't know why I have that there. You feel the crunch, and you just bite into the crunch, and then the moist. Everybody's had the fun bun pretty much out. The moist of the cinnamon roll, the texture, and then you taste the cream cheese, the boysenberry sauce, and you taste 0 calories. It's amazing. It is, it's incredible. So with that, let's some of our chef telling us the other new items here. We've got John Chu that mentioned a few of the new products in the park. What that word?
I was going to jump in. I'm John Chu, Director of Food and Beverage here at the park. So, like Russ was saying, since the end of the Boysenberry Festival last year, we've had so much fun in our kitchens, just experimenting with the boysenberry, seeing how we can cook it, infuse it, all different kinds of fun ways. I hope everyone gets a chance to try everything here. We've decided to choose some of our, top-notch items, some favorites that you guys saw last year and the year before, and some new things. And one thing I want to bring up, we don't have here today, but it's the Boysenberry trifle, which is something I want you guys to experience, and that's going to be located over at Sutter's. So the Boysenberry trifle, keep an eye out for it.
Hey everybody, I'm Bobby, I'm the executive chef, and I have the pleasure to work with a great team. The team that we have over here in Knott's Berry Farm is so incredible. Panban, trifle, cheese curds that we have right now is amazing. I don't know how many of you guys already tasted, but it's great. All the sauce that we have is so simple and so easy. It's just boysenberry, ketchup, little sriracha, garlic, and other flavors, and there it is. So hope you guys enjoy it and have a good time. And I'll see you a little later. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ruben. I'm executive sous chef here, and I want to talk to you about our fish sandwich here that we have. We have a fish and chip sandwich with a boysenberry tartar sauce. Everybody says boysenberry tartar sauce. But if you guys try it with the barbecue on top, awesome, excellent. And so enjoy the rest of your night. Chef Bob.
Executive Sous Chef Ivaldo Ramirez, and it's a great pleasure to work with this team among everybody else in Knott's Berry Farm. And what fun of it play with the boysenberries around the kitchen, right? That's how the Knott's Berry Farm start, and we keep it going. And the fun part of our job is to start playing with all the food, playing around the kitchen with different things of the food, and this is what we come up with. Different tastes, different items, different mentalities, different ways of cooking, and this is what we come up with from a long time of trying. And this is the place that I like to work with, and I hopefully stay for a long time. And enjoy Boysenberry Festival. Thank you.
Like I say, if you enjoy what you do, you don't work a day in your life, and I think I talk for all of us, that we enjoy working here at the farm. And everything you tried today, from the bread to almost to the items, it's all been in-house in our bakery, in-house baked. So enjoy. We're going to be around to talk to everybody here. So have a good time, drink lots of wine, have some fun, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, our first history tour group will be the Boysenberry group, as it should be. Boysenberry is #1 here. Please, if you're in the Boysenberry group, meet Mr. Eric Linksweiler right outside.
Excellent. All right. Long about that.
Can I put this one in there?
Yes, please. That's so many years.
Yes.
Good. Boysenberry ketchup. Got it. If I keep saying I don't.
That's a nice camera.
Or very like a hard red one that makes it taste like really sharp. So with this so now you
Good.
I will shortly.
It's a boysenberry cream cheese. So enjoy that. You never know that. It's so good. There you go.
Most of the people that just said that no, they didn't know. So they were white, they didn't know. So we were talking to one people that they wanted that was white.
Historic phone, just because I want to introduce you to a nice little piece of Knott's Berry Farm history that few people remember. But we can finally celebrate it because it's spring and it's this beautiful wisteria arbor. The reason I bring you here is because it takes us back to the very, very beginning of Knott's Berry Farm. As was mentioned earlier, 1920 is when Walter and Cordelia first brought their young family to this property. 7 years later, they bought it, built a small farmhouse to live in, and they also built the berry market, which is still open and operating today. The berry market is the very same one that Walter Knott built in 27 after reinforced that. But next to that was the chicken dinner restaurant. He had the Boysenberry and the chicken dinner restaurant in 1934. People came to buy the boysenberries, but they stayed because of the chicken dinners. The chicken dinner wait could be anywhere from 1 to 3 hours to order your chicken dinner. And with all that wait time, people were wandering around Walter Knott's property over his farmland and just waiting. So he wound up building all these little tiny amusements for them in order to keep them occupied and distracted. These little amusements were things like a replica of George Washington's fireplace, because that was amusing once upon a time. We also had things like phosphorescent rocks that glowed in the dark, under blacklight. They really enjoyed that back then. These little things wound up turning into one massive construction project. Between 1940 and 41, Walter Knott built Ghost Town. That Ghost Town. The main street that we just walked down is the original main street that he constructed in 1941. That was all he thought he was ever going to build, but it became so popular that he built another street after the war, and then another street, and another street, and then we got roller coasters and fairy tales and awesome stuff like that. But this arbor is the connecting line. This trellis once went all the way down to the chicken dinner restaurant. And all we have left is one gigantic vine from the mid-1940s, and this is it. Oftentimes we can forget that this wisteria vine is here because it blooms only in spring and it just looks dead otherwise. Last year was kind of sad, we had a drought. This year it's gorgeous because of the recent rains we've been having. And that's why I wanted to bring you guys here. Because this is the connecting piece of our history, this one plant that's connecting us to our boysenberry and chicken dinner roots as we grew into a theme park in the 1940s. And our theme park is right there. Let's walk in that direction, and we will walk down the original main street that Walter Knott built in 1941. That people saw. when they first walk from the Arbor into Ghost Town. These are the signs that people always ignore, and I want to make sure that you are prepared as we go into this crazy, clamorous, rambunctious ghost town. Well, the way it used to be. We've actually got a hangman's tree. This 1941 hangman's tree is the original hangman's tree that was planted here in order to warn people who come into Ghost Town, behave. Behave yourself. Not only that, but we've also got Deadwood Dick. The little grave just in front of the assay office. Deadwood Dick was not a very polite guy. He was shot dead and buried right in the middle of the street. In order to teach people, don't overact in Ghost Town. You have to behave yourself. Because this is a Wild West town. Wild West, a little bit crazy. You never know who's going to have a shootout in the middle of Main Street at 12:30 every day. Come on those Main Streets. It's great. Now, the art director of Main Street was Paul Swartz. That honor was later handed over to Paul von Kleben. Walter Knott didn't just build a ghost town overnight. He did have help with art direction. Paul Swartz and Paul von Kleben were his first art directors. And they made Main Street crooked. They stopped it here at this historic 1800s blacksmith shop and then made it zig a little, just as a historic Main Street would in an old ghost town where people were just randomly putting buildings down without a plan for where the street was going to flow. This little piece behind me was the only historic structure that Walter Knott brought to Ghost Town in 1941. He bought it from a neighboring farm, moved it a mile away. It's still in operation today. You can order your very own branding iron. Some of the most recent ones they've made are all right there on that wall. I'm going to have to get one for myself. I already know what it's going to be. Anyway, you mentioned a little earlier original attractions at Knott's Berry Farm. We did have 2 attractions in the area. One of them was the Covered Wagon Show, which was located in the Gold Trails Hotel. That debuted a little after 1941, late in 41, and it was basically a sit-down interpretation of a blacklit scene in which you would hear a scratchy record play and see a little vista of a covered wagon with a little girl asking for a drink of water as she and her family made their way over the mountains to the west in order to settle the Wild West. Does anybody have any idea what I'm talking about?
Yes, I remember seeing it.
You remember? Yay!
Walter Knott's mother, Walter Knott's grandmother.
Exactly. And that was the Covered Wagon Show. The Covered Wagon Show was located there until about 1996. What was that? Yes. Thank you. We're having a private moment, sorry. Reminiscing about our youths. Oh. But I did grow up here, as I'm assuming you probably did too. So out of all of these buildings, this was one of our historic pieces, and Main Street will, of course, be the centerpiece of the Boysenberry Festival. We're putting a lot of our attention on this street, and we will have lots of food set up at the various venues on the street, little shopping areas on the streets, and of course at the very end is the old livery stable, which will house the Berry Tales Pie Kitchen. And some of you may know what I'm talking about for the Berry Tales Pie Kitchen. It's the first time we've been really bringing back these characters, and I am so excited because that's my youth we're talking about. The other reason I'm really thrilled is because we're going to have our first 2 Berry Tales t-shirts ever. And they're going to be for sale, and you've got to grab them quick because they will sell out. They're going to be great. Let's walk in this direction, and you'll see some of the original buildings from 41. Restaurants that drew. These are all some of the original buildings from 1941. These facades and their beacons have not changed whatsoever. They're still intact. And if you haven't said hello to Sad-Eyed Joe, he's been incarcerated since 1941. He's Orange County's longest incarcerated criminal. But this is the end of Main Street. Walter Knott and his art directors designed this street with a gigantic point of focus at the end of Main Street. He thought it would be very important to have something tall, large at the end of Main Street in order to draw your attention as you walk down Main Street. Just putting it out there and repeating it over and over again to see if you are getting what I'm saying. Thank you. Somebody gets it. This is our castle at the end of Main Street. We had a Main Street in 1941 and we put something tall and visual at the end of it. Walt Disney and his Imagineers, proto-Imagineers, came down here in the 1950s in order to learn from us. And odd enough, we still have our castle here in the shape of a historic windmill from Riverside. The wood has changed, but the top is still historic from Riverside, and of course our barn is 1941 as well. For those of you who are Haunt fans, maybe, the barn housed the very first haunt maze ever constructed. It was about 1978. And it's still the same barn that was there in 1941. I'm going to keep saying that word over and over again because we're almost 75 years old. Come on this way. Eat up, drink up, and I'll be back later after I give a few more tours. If you have any questions that you develop, just find me. I've got the Boysenberry shirt.
It can be hard.
Yeah, you'll find me. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.